Okay, so Tucker puts it on a tee. About to anyway, as the Ravens and Falcons about to get started. We're about to go down to the field, but here's Tracy.
Well, thanks a lot, Jim. Lamar Jackson, not an easy quarterback to prepare for, but Dan Quinn feels his team is ready. A lot has to do with the fact that they faced Cam Newton already, and they faced Taysom Hill with the Saints, who comes in for Drew Brees. And then on Monday, they held tryouts to see who would play Lamar Jackson on the scout team. Came down to Mohamed Sanu, Russell Gage, and Marvin Hall. And Mohamed Sanu, Dan Quinn told us, could really throw the ball. Russell Gage, he was a high school option quarterback, racked up 2,000 yards on the ground. They feel they're ready. And guys, the added bonus, they get linebacker Deion Jones back today, Jim.
That's a big thing for the Falcons to have Deion back. He brings all kinds of leadership that defense needs. And with the Ravens deferring, they kick away to the back of the end zone. Tucker delivering the touchback. So Matt Ryan and the Falcons will have the football first. Again, they've lost basically 3 games on the last play of the game. And his stats off the charts again. Almost a 5-to-1 touchdown to pick ratio. He's thrown for at least 250 yards in every game. Of course, they've only had Devontae Freeman up for 2 games this year. He's IR'd. Injuries a bigger issue on defense, but they've missed Freeman.
Oh, big time. He was the guy that in space, you just check it down for 5 yards and he gets you 20. So it's the red zone issues and the turnovers and the non-ability to run the ball on first down. That's sort of an issue.
So it'll be Coleman starting, as he has. Tevin Coleman. And out of the gun, Ryan slant pattern to his tight end, and that's Hooper with the catch for about 8.
Jim, they just blitzed everybody on the first play of the game. That's rare.
Bashful,
that's Baltimore. And this O-line's in for trouble today.
They'll hurry up right away for Ryan and company as they face a 2nd and 2. And it's a handoff to Coleman. And he's right at the first down marker. Will be enough to move the chains. Again, this Ravens defense rating first, fewest points, fewest yards per play, fewest first downs allowed, even though they just gave up 1. And this defense in Don Martindale, you like what you see.
Oh, this is old school. In other words, the league has gone to a little more of the Seahawks type of defense where we're trying to fit our gap, be in the right positions. The Ravens, they're coming after you with a lot of different people from a lot of different places.
Falcons have Ito Smith in the backfield. Rookie out of Southern Miss. And nice little wiggle as he makes the move for a gain of 11 and another set of first downs.
Well, this is key. For the Falcons to win this game, they're going to have to run the ball well on first down. And right here, they get movement up front. Mack creates the hole, and you see Smith get through it. But that's the way they're going to win. If you make the Ravens defend on first down, you can beat them. Here's
Ryan again. Middle of the field, and it's a completion to Julio at the 45, a pickup of 9. So Steve Sarkisian, their offensive coordinator, he comes out with a hurry-up attack, and it's working.
Yeah, it's going to try and minimize. No one does more multiple, looks or different things than Baltimore does. If you run the ball, you're going to stay ahead of them, and this is key to play action.
Coleman on the toss, hit behind the line and thrown back. C.J. Mosley, who tops that team in tackles, read that one out quickly. Loss of 2.
Just a great job flowing to the ball, and C.J. Mosley does everything well. A lot of subtle things that you don't see until you watch the tape, where he's taking away a defender, moves back in the passing route tree, and all of a sudden takes away the route. No one knows why. The quarterback didn't pull the trigger. He's there in the perfect spot consistently.
Now brings it back to a 3rd and 3 after a 2nd and 1. The snap coming from just outside the Baltimore 47. Here they come blitzing again. Ryan unloads. What a catch. What a catch by Jones for the first down.
Well, this is really good defense, but it's even better throw catch. The timing allows Julio to see the ball, and Smith doesn't get his head around simply because Ryan let it go so early. And then Julio just uses that big frame and goes up and gets it.
And Smith, who finally ended up being sandwiched on the ground when Jones finally was tackled, is slow to get up. Jimmy Smith, an 8-year corner they took in the first round all the way back in 2011.
And their vets are playing pretty good, Jim. You got Brandon Carr, who's playing really outstanding football. He's an ageless wonder, we call him. And then, Jimmy Smith has done really well recently. And so it's really helping the young guys that they got on this football team, because you get to watch these veterans do it perfectly. You got Humphrey, Young. They see what it takes to succeed long term.
So they opened the roof today. It's a beautiful day in Atlanta. I have to say, in 30+ years, I have never called a game that I can't see.
I was going to say,
we are completely blinded. The sun is at the perfect angle, and we're trying to shield our eyes. We're even trying to see if we can read it off of a monitor. This is a first.
We cannot see. Let's just say.
Thankfully, the Super Bowl is going to have a later start time if they decide to have the roof open on February 3rd. 1st and 10, at least I'm told, as Ryan throws it and completes another one down to about the 31. And that's Russell Gage. Tracy alluded to Russell in her pregame report about how he had simulated Lamar Jackson. I can't see, folks. I mean, I'm calling it like this.
Jim, if you could just analyze that last play for me, please.
I don't know what happened. I'm told that Gage made the catch. Yeah, I need some sunscreen for sure.
Get up!
I'm going to use my board here. That will help. Well, that's a good call. 2nd and 3 from the 31 as Coleman tries inside, and he knows where that yardage is, and he's close. Jimmy Smith back in the game helped bump him out. It was in the area.
Well, this is key. If Atlanta can continue to get, they just don't need a loss of yards. If they're losing 2, that's when they really struggle. But 4 rushes, 4 passes, perfect start for them. This is exactly ideal how they want it. Keep them off balance, Baltimore. Otherwise, these safeties that come down here, they'll start getting involved otherwise. Too much in the pass game.
So Smith set out just one play. Was back for that last one. Atlanta already with 4 first downs and operating from the 27, but a timeout called by Ryan. It has been such a streaky season. They lost in Philadelphia to open the season on that Thursday night where the champions were at home. Came back with a win, but then it's been all about streaks, good and bad. 3-game losing streak to fall to 1-4. And then all of a sudden they win 3 straight. They're 4-4, and things are looking up, only to be followed by yet another streak in the other direction, losing 3 in a row. But when we talk to them, Coach Quinn, they think they're fully capable of having a streak the rest of the way in the positive direction.
Well, you got to think you can. I mean, if you're a competitor, if they win out, you feel like they got a chance to get in, right?
I think 9-7, is probably comes down to some tiebreakers. They have the head-to-head over the Redskins, for example, with a win.
It's just going to be tough. There's a couple holes. They can win a couple games, but there's a few areas they got to shore up.
You said you got to focus on this game first. And first down throw. Ryan's pass just out of reach. It was Coleman trying to catch up with it.
I like the aggressive play call. Coleman comes all the way from inside a tight end type position and gets outside, and you see Young trying to keep up. But now all of a sudden it's 2nd and 10. And this is where Baltimore gets very exotic, you could say. If I'm Atlanta, I'm either just handing it off or throwing a screen here early in the game. I don't want to have the quarterback get hit with some crazy stuff coming from the outside.
Ravens defense loves 2nd and 10. And there's a handoff to Smith. And only good for maybe 2. They'll give him a yard is all. So 3rd and 9 coming up.
You're going to see Atlanta try and simplify the game plan, hand it off on 2nd and 10. It seems kind of like, oh, we need to get more yards, but Baltimore is dying for you to try and throw the ball because they're coming after you with something uniquely crazy. And now you're going to see it again. Look at all these guys at the line, and you never know. They all drop out, they all come.
Atlanta good on 3rd down, as you saw, 3rd best. Ravens defense 3rd best at stopping conversions. And it's the Ravens defense who win this little matchup inside the battle. Incomplete. Intended for Ridley, and that was Humphrey on the coverage.
It's a perfect design play versus this defensive coverage. The ball's just a hair behind Ridley on the play, and Ryan knows he just missed it.
It's going to be 44 yards for Bryant. who's battled injuries throughout the season, been on the injury report this week with a back, missed a couple of games, actually 3 in all because of a hamstring injury earlier in the year. 44 yards he hasn't missed so far. 14 of 14. Let's move that up a notch. 15 of 15. Good from 44. Falcons opening drive produces a field goal. So a 5.5-minute drive for the Falcons that leads to a 44-yard field goal by Matt Bryant. And now we'll have a chance to see Lamar Jackson take this exciting show on the road for the first time. It also happens to be the city that he made his first start in college for the Louisville Cardinals. Not in this dome, in the old dome. That was just a few hundred yards away from the spot. But Lamar Jackson, he's been running the football a lot. In fact, he's had more rush attempts, Tony, through his first 2 games as a starter than pass attempts.
Yeah, that's rare, but they're getting people open because everyone's so aware of the run game and they're trying to stop it with everything. It'll be interesting today. 3rd game, a little more tape on it.
All right, the first game as a starter against Cincinnati, he rushed 27 times, had 117 on the ground. Came back, ran it less against Oakland, although he did have a rush touchdown. 11 carries, 71 yards.
Well, I expect them to come out and play action a little bit. After 2 games of watching the tape, Atlanta, the way they watched it, I think you can gash them in some big plays on 1st down if you play action, if you're Baltimore.
Edwards is his running back, the undrafted rookie out of Rutgers. Been over 100 each of the last 2 weeks, and that is Edwards. Whew, he's pushed back he's kind of pinned down to the ground, down low by Poole, and they shove him back about a yard short of a first, 9 yards.
Well, you're going to see just right through the middle of the defense, and that's not a good sign for Atlanta. On the first play of the game, you know they're probably coming straight downhill at you. Not to be able to get a push. And Atlanta's a little small inside. They require speed and ability to move and have guys go this way and then another guy go this way to stop the run, and hasn't been good enough.
2nd and a foot, and they go ahead and plow ahead with Edwards on a 2nd straight carry for the first down. So as you look at this Ravens offense, Joe Flacco, by the way, with the hip injury, inactive. They did not declare it until this morning. There's Joe, as he was limited in practice beginning on Wednesday, but unable to go here today. So watching on from the sideline as Jackson on the bootleg is able to get it to his tight end, and he is tossed down after he tried to jump in the air. That's Mark Andrews, good-looking rookie out of Oklahoma.
Well, they do a great job pulling the guard and making the defense come across, and then you just see there are going to be people open in the play-action game. Andrews just coming across, and here's the sweet leap.
You don't see tight ends doing that very often. I mean, it's becoming really popular, even quarterbacks. But how about your tight end trying to leap?
I don't know. You leap until you get popped once.
2nd and 2, and that is Kenny Dixon, who's back off of injured reserve. Had that knee injury and was just activated here in the last day. Back to the active roster. He's got 5. And then you look at this Atlanta defense, and it's so, for them, for Coach Manuel, their coordinator, it's such a great thing for them to have Deion Jones back. He got injured week 1 with a foot injury, and he too, like Dixon, who just carried it, back off IR.
45 is the mic.
Yeah, 45 is Deion Jones, and he helps them in communication. Alert this, alert that, so everyone's on the same page.
Here's Jackson with time, and now leaves the pocket and flings it, completes down to about the 30. That is Crabtree with the catch, and a gain of 18.
And it's a simple play. You'll see the handoff, the whole line slides one way, and really you're just looking at 2 guys. Crabtree does an outstanding job coming back, but that's a risky throw. Now, you get away with it when you're young sometimes because you're like, oh, he's open. Only 2 guys in a route, I got to throw to somebody. But you can't see who's coming back all the way from the other sideline, and that's going to get in trouble at some point.
Pretty interesting. At wide receiver, they have Robert Griffin III, who is the backup quarterback today for Jackson. Who play action fakes, throws, man open, catch. Andrews down to the 13. So they give him a different look. They bring in RG3, split him out wide, and they go back to the tight end for 18 more.
Well, this is just a great design. You're going to see RG3 come this way, but the key is going to be the tight end here, running back here, and watch how wide open Andrews is going to come. This is why when you run the ball, I mean, the free safety's in the middle. He's like, who's covering that guy? And make sure he catches with a sliding catch. Yep. And you really just, it's hard to defend the run and that pass on every play. That's why I think they can gash him in the play action game.
So in the red zone at the 13, first down, Edwards, the running back. And look at the Falcons on the handoff in the backfield. Grady Jarrett was right there. And the ball comes out.
Good job getting back on that ball. It was Yonda.
Yeah.
You see Edwards is right there. And Grady Jarrett in the backfield. And
Yonda happens to be right there.
Yeah.
To look like a fumble was certainly a possibility with the handoff and the awkwardness of having a Falcon waiting for you. Jarrett.
Well, and Jarrett, I love it. He just goes right at him and says, I don't care who's keeping it. I'm going to hit you both right now.
Ty Montgomery in the game for the Ravens. Here's a 2nd and 15, and the flag on the far side. Brad Allen and crew, they are here. We were with them last week on Thanksgiving in Detroit, where they officiated that Chicago Lions game. Talking over options with Coach Quinn.
Yeah, it's going to be deciding whether to.
Illegal formation. The tackle was lined up in the backfield. That penalty is declined. 3rd down.
So it's 3rd and 15 coming up.
Yeah, it's either do you want 2nd and 20?
You got to decline that.
Or 3rd and 15, and I like that. That's the right call. Doesn't take them out of field goal range, and it gives them 2 opportunities to get it. You love your 3rd and 15 defense.
They'll drop Jackson into the shotgun.
Now, this has got to be a screen or something. You don't want to make him have to read out 20 yards downfield.
Rolls out right, flings it. Complete. Just a short gain, that's all. Montgomery for a couple, and Beasley brought down the ball carrier. Another flag down. This one's in the secondary.
Ooh. Well, it's a screenplay, so.
Illegal use of the hands. Hands to the face. Number 45, defense.
Deion Jones.
5-yard penalty, automatic. 1st down.
And on the first series that he returns, what would have led to a field goal attempt gives now the Ravens a new set of downs. That was a 3rd and 15 play.
Well, you can't do that right here. It's a screen. He knows it's a screen. He's not going to throw the ball to Willie Snead. And you cannot do that there. It's 3rd and 15. You got to expect somebody on your defense to get there. You don't have to be the guy who makes the play.
Boyle and Williams at the last moment enter the Baltimore huddle. And that's a big break for the Ravens. They got now a 1st down again at the 13. Running a little option. Jackson keeps. Jackson breaks the tackle. He's right to the pylon. And it's a touchdown. Broke away from DeMonte KC. Looked like he had him a good 5 yards out. Jackson goes 13 yards for the score.
Well, this is going to be really good. It's just option this way. And Jackson, I thought he was going to pitch it, but he knows how to do this so well, and it's perfect because he puts the Falcons in a bind. And you see Casey doesn't know what to do. And then at the end, Grady Jarrett hits him, but I think he gets in here. It's close to tell from there. I think it's good.
Yeah, they're going to take a look at it because when you see it at real speed, you see his right foot is out of bounds about a half yard out, but the ball may have already broken the plane by that time. Let's see. Try to stretch it out for a moment.
That's in right there. Yep. And we talked about early in the game, you got to be more creative. That was a new creative running play. If you're going to keep running the ball this much, you got to come up with creative plays so the defense hasn't seen them.
And a nod to Marty Morningwig. the offensive coordinator. His team marches down the field and produces 7. Atlanta's allowed more opening drive points than any team in the league. They surrender 7 today. Ravens take it the distance.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the new Wendy's Bacon Maple Chicken Sandwich. Garmin. Get a Garmin smartwatch and beat yesterday. And by Verizon. The best unlimited is on Verizon, America's most awarded network.
Tony, you'll remember Lamar Jackson told us last night, I'm going to try to, as my first road start evolves, I'm going to try to take that home field advantage and make it our own. And that's certainly one way to do it. Take the first possession down the field for a touchdown. And all 3 of his starts now, he's produced points on the first drive, 2 touchdowns and a field goal.
Well, what happens is when you run the ball like this, they have to be simple on defense to be gap sound. Well, you know what they're going to be in then, so you can script about 15 plays before they adjust, before you have to run out of plays. So they should be great early in the game. But here's a great chess match that's going on that you'll see the rest of the game. Matt Ryan has to call plays, and so when he gets up there at the line of scrimmage, he goes, oh, Weddle's down over here. I'm going to run to the left. Let's run the ball to the left. Oh, wait, Weddle's going way back. Let me set it. Hey, change. Run to the right. Run to the right, everyone. Run to the right. And then Weddle, the safety, comes right back downhill. And he goes, oh, no, that's a blitz right into it. We can't block him. Timeout. Great chess match between those two going on today.
They ran it 5 times the first time down the field. Led to a field goal. Now going for the deep ball. Looking for Jones. Jump ball. And Julio has it knocked away by Eric Weddle, who we visited with last night. Weddle was pretty sure about this defense and how they have not allowed the deep ball this year.
Well, they come out in cover 2 knowing they're going to attack them. They rarely cover that, and Weddle doesn't bite the double move and times it perfect. I mean, this, look at Weddle looking at the ball. Great technique, and then you rip down on the arm, but the throw got out of Matt Ryan's hand a little funny. That's when he's like, oh, no, it's floating. Don't get intercepted.
Weddle saying this team, the way it's built, is to stop the teams that air it out. That's been Atlanta's philosophy this year as they've struggled in the running game. And there's another incompletion at the feet of Tevin Coleman. So you're just taking Weddle's comments last night, made that knockdown on first down. Next week they play at Kansas City. So, they're going against a couple teams that, have been hugely effective in the passing game. We'll see. Big stretch for them. Nobody pressures like this Baltimore team. A lot of teams did this probably 6, 7, 8 years ago. But now the league has transformed a little bit. It's going to be awesome to watch next week. This Baltimore defense playing for 10 years. You see all these guys at the line? Who are you going to block? The quarterback has to decide. And he hopes you jump off sides. Yeah. There's a whistle first, even though there's a circus catch made by Ridley. He's in bounds.
Prior to the snap. Neutral zone infraction. Number 90, defense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Yeah, that's the thing you were setting up there before the early jump by Smith. That, again, getting back to what Weddle talked about. They'll give you the same look, but they're going to run 5 different things out of it. You just don't know as a quarterback. That's it right there. Look at that. It's like, who's coming? He might come this time, then him, and then him. And all of a sudden you're at the end, you're like, well, who are we blocking? The quarterback has to decide. And I think the Chiefs are going to see something uniquely different next week, and it's going to be awesome to see whether their scheme holds up against pressure and all these people at the line of scrimmage. 3rd and 5. Ryan flushed out, no chance, taken down. That is Suggs, the 16-year veteran, making the big play, giving him 6.5 on the season. That defense was ready for a little celebration move on the 10-yard sack. Well, you see Suggs at the top of the screen, and he shows he's still got the ability, and Ryan has to leave the pocket because Smith gets the pressure up the middle, and that's just, they're really good at all 3 levels. Sure to punt, and Cyrus Jones is back deep. He returned one last week for a touchdown. The former Alabama star trying to wiggle past the traffic and taken down near the 30. Well, a little sack celebration by Suggs and company. Second possession coming up for the Ravens, who will hold on to the number 6 spot today unless they lose and Indianapolis wins. Of course, the way the Colts are going, playing at Jacksonville, and the Colts and Andrew Luck eager to do some good business down that way against Cody Kessler starting today for the Jags. All right, here we go. Handoff up the middle to Edwards. And he's got a gain of about 5. Okay, looking at this. How do you defend this kind of action, Tony?
You really don't. Because what happens is early in the game, people get wide open because you're defending the run. You see he's got like 8 yards of space between people. And you got to defend that play. And then the next play, you got to defend horizontally all the way to the sideline. A quarterback, a receiver, the running back and tight end block that time. And then the next play is just a handoff right down the middle. And then it's a slant. It's like, it's very difficult to prepare early.
Here's a handoff again, and just a gain of 1 for Edwards. Just looking at that touchdown from our sky cam a moment ago. We should give a shout out to Nick Boyle, who threw a great block that really helped Jackson find the end zone.
Yeah, he blocked right down. And the one thing, if you're Atlanta, is if you can hang on and give up field goals early in the game, it actually gets easier because they will have run all their cool new plays that they came in versus your scheme. Atlanta's got to be simple and run their scheme, keep that safety in the middle of the field there, and then all of a sudden, okay, we've seen all your cool stuff. Now we can keep doing what we're doing and know your responsibilities.
All right, the rookie faces 3rd and 4. Got Montgomery in the backfield. Again, playing sidearm incomplete. Trying to get it to John Brown. But the Falcon defense made that throw difficult.
And this is where Lamar has to improve a little bit. This, you know, he's really young, and so he's got plenty of room to grow, and we know he can run. But for them to really beat 2 or 3 teams in a row in the playoffs, if they can get there, he's going to have to make throws like that on 3rd and medium to move the chains, because they're going to be in a lot of.
Hardy, the returner, just watches this bounce in, 1 hop for the touchback, 65 yards, net of 45, and the Falcons have the ball back, down 7-3.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Taco Bell's Rolled Chicken Tacos and by Walt Disney World Resort.
Tonight on CBS, country sensation Garth Brooks will rock the house that Rockney built. The first live concert ever held at legendary Notre Dame Stadium. Don't miss Garth live at Notre Dame tonight after 60 minutes, only CBS. Last 6 plays for the Falcons, minus 9 yards. Includes the sack by Suggs that took away 10. Suggs in on this play too. Able to get a hand on the ball carrier, Smith, who keeps his balance for a gain of 2. Is that you over there, my friend? I can finally see.
Oh, look at this.
We finally shifted over.
Look at the field.
We can actually watch a football game.
I see you, Jim. You're up here.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure if you're downstairs.
I could hear you.
That was a big 2 yards. If they lose 2 or 3, you're in trouble if you're Atlanta. Now you get to get up and be okay, we can run it or pass it. And all of a sudden, Matt Ryan gets to look at the defense and figure out a good play.
The toss. Again, Ravens were there. Could have had him for a loss. But it picks up maybe 3 for Ito Smith. Mosley, the man who brought him down. So they came out that first drive, and the hurry-up offense was working, but they're not maintaining that pace. Why?
Well, a lot of it's the first down play call. If you get yards on first down, stay up on the ball, get going. If you don't get yards on first down, you got to get into a correct play, and you got to get people on the field versus the pressure looks. They're going to bring them from different areas, and they're going to do it here as well.
3rd and 5. 5 rushing for the Ravens. Ryan, nice job improvising to get that pass away. Hooper, they call out for Hoop, who has the first down and plenty more. Gain of 16 on 3rd and 5.
And this is how you get Baltimore. Hooper's down here, but watch. As he comes across the field, Weddle's the guy to watch. He's going to chip Suggs. And if you get time, you can gash him because there are holes. Weddle's looking at the quarterback's eyes, and so he kind of hangs on a hair long. And he's always got great instincts. But Ryan hangs in the pocket and finds an open defender. When you pressure, there are people open. Just got to find them.
1 quarter complete in Atlanta. Ravens lead it. Back in Atlanta, Jim Nantz. Pleasure to have the company of Tony Romo and Tracy Wolfson and all of our crew here for this tilt between the Ravens and the Falcons. 7-3 Baltimore starting the second. Matt Ryan in the second quarter this year, 10 touchdowns, no picks. Been his quarter. He's got it drops what he's got. Julio trying to turn around and take off before the football was secured.
Yeah, that was simple stick play, we call it, 5 yards. And Julio just goes up and turns out. It's a rare drop for a Matt Ryan thrown ball, since he's a high completion percentage this year, and just you know, that's big. Once again, first down. We said it in the opening, right, Jim?
Yeah, that's something the Ravens, they really try to make 2nd and 10 like it's a 3rd down. Their defensive mentality, the way they bring it.
Yeah, these guys, they're coming after him.
Play action into the line. Ryan going deep. Jones tried to make sure it was not picked. He batted it away. He turned into a defender. Marlon Humphrey was poised to perhaps make an interception.
Well, it's really great defense. You stack them, you stay on top of them. Julio does a great job coming back to the ball, but I don't think he can get his right arm up. Let's see, Humphrey, yeah, he grabbed that right arm. That should have been called. It's hard to tell, though, because it looks like Julio is pushing back with him, but now you got to get the protection right. Or you're throwing a slant or a screen here.
On 3rd and 10. Pocket secured. Ryan flings it. Catch made a yard short of the first by Ridley. Not a deep enough route.
No, that's a killer. This is when you tell your receiver, like, you kidding? It doesn't help us at all to be 1 yard short.
They're going to go for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's. You see that route that comes downhill? You want to take it one more step further, so when you come downhill. 4th and 1, though.
And all the analytics these days, they tell you you've got to do this more often than the old days.
Yeah, but I would do it if I had a good offensive line. If you don't, those big guys inside can push them right back into your lap.
4th and 1, and yes, they bust across. Exactly what the Ravens defense did. Ito Smith denied. Mosley and company all over that.
Yeah, Michael Pierce right inside. The big nose tackle. Not on 4th down on me.
On the Falcons sideline, that is Julio Jones being taped up. His right hand, which was clean and unwrapped. Now getting a little extra support. Ravens take over after the turnover on downs. Jackson gets to the spot, plants the feet, overthrows a wide open John Brown. So he did just what he wanted there. He got to a place to get set. He had a receiver roaming free.
Yeah, and he was wide open. And you see right here, I mean, he's so open. John Brown he's got to lay that ball. And this is where you're going to be in an interesting spot if you're Harbaugh. You know, we'll talk about it in a second with Flacco and Jackson injury on the field.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Pizza Hut, official pizza sponsor of the NFL. Progressive Insurance, handing off big savings to you. And by Lowe's.
That injury timeout. Foye Oluokun is in the blue tent. That's the back of Joe Flacco, who is inactive again today with that hip injury that limited him all week. The 2nd and 10. Keeping it. Jackson now tosses it. Picks up an extra couple yards as he gives it up to Ty Montgomery. And what about the way this is working out? Flacco injured, Jackson with his 3rd consecutive start.
Yeah, I think what you're going to see is if you're Harbaugh, you're just looking at how defenses are playing. Now, Jackson got to go against 2, very average run defenses.
Cincinnati and Oakland. Yep.
Yes, and so you want to see a little bit. You're really just trying to take it week by week. No one's thinking any more than that. And then from there, you go back and You're just going to take the guy who gives you the best chance to win. And if teams are coming on and taking away what Jackson's good at, you go right back to Flacco. If he's doing great, you stick with him.
3rd and 7. Another drop. This time on the Ravens side of the field. Crabtree knew he needed to get a couple of yards after the catch, and he was trying to make the maneuver. Didn't hold on.
Yeah, and it's really a blocking screen. And it's a slant that you're throwing, and Crabtree knows he had a chance at a first down. And this is a big game, though, for that decision, don't you think?
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be interesting because it makes it much tougher. If they lose this game, it's a no-brainer going back to Flacco. But
there's fake. Cook throws, completes it for the first down. That is what Georgia was trying to do on this field last night against Alabama. That's how you do it. Look at the catch made by Chris Moore.
What a throw by the
Sam Cook with a spiral. And the old special teams coach in his old days, Harbaugh, loving it.
And Terry Rosberg comes up with a great one. Just a slant, a deep slant that no one really runs anymore, but the alignment was perfect. And what a throw. I mean, in stride by Cook. I mean, and you're right. Georgia had a shot at it. The difference was Bama was prepared for it. And remember Harbaugh, special teams. That's how they hired him as a head coach.
That was in the SEC title game on this field last night on CBS. Keep by Jackson for a gain of 3. And by the way, hats off to Sam Cook, who is now 5 for 5 passing in his career.
That's a pretty good stat for a punter.
Oh, no kidding. I mean, you've got Flacco, you've got RG3, and you've got number 4 as your 4th quarterback now.
They got 4 guys on this team.
Exactly.
That quarterback rating right there is very high.
That's a good one.
That's going to be way up there. Forget about that, Cook. Get over there and start throwing spirals.
Yeah, really. You go right from heroic moments and now practicing your holding on the field goal attempts or PATs, whatever it might be. Ball's coming out. Picked up by Atlanta. That's Beasley down the sideline. What a move back to the middle of the field. Jackson is shielded, and Beasley takes it all the way for the touchdown. Off a Lamar Jackson fumble. The flag is in the end zone.
Well, you needed a big play, Atlanta. You just got it right here. That's got to be a penalty after the play.
The throw of the play is a touchdown. After the play is over, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 44, the intercepting team. A 15-yard penalty is assessed on the kickoff.
Tell you, the guy that made the play, Beasley, with a great run, but how about Grady Jarrett knocking the ball out from Jackson?
Jarrett and McKinley meet on the quarterback and Beasley. Now, this defense's philosophy, when they get a turnover, they practice this every day. You see how many guys are down the field running the sideline? This is an actual drill they run 5 times a practice. Ball's on the ground, they all sprint up the sideline so they can score.
Bryant adds the extra point. Falcons' first non-offensive touchdown of the season. It's Beasley. That's what he was penalized for right there. Back in 30 after this from Allstate.
I'm Snow. And just like you, the further in the winter we go, the heavier I get. And while your pants struggle to support the heavier you, your roof struggles to support the heavier me. And your cut rate insurance might not pay for this. So get Allstate. You can save money and be better protected from mayhem. Like me.
Mayhem is everywhere. So get an Allstate agent. Are you in good hands?
Okay, Lamar Jackson's looking up to check out his miscue, which has led to the touchdown.
And watch the back, Jim. They're going to run all go special, they call it. Everyone's down the field. And as a young guy, you know this. When the defense gets out of there, just throw it to your back right there. Give it to him. Right over the ball. When you try and make a play there, you got points. And that's when turnovers happen. Running back's right in front of him. Probably gets enough yards for a first down.
Pretty good balance, too. I mean, pretty good ball handling and running skills by Beasley, the former first-round pick out of Clemson, who has his second career fumble return for a touchdown.
This is what the Falcons' defensive philosophy is. We're going to run around, create havoc, know our assignment's cold, and score when you turn it over.
The kick, because they had that mark off the penalty, allows the return by Moore out to about the 37. That was a 74-yard return. Let's check action elsewhere. Back to JB and Boomer in New York.
Baker pick.
Well, Jim, you were just talking about ball handling and running skills. How about this? Texans linebacker Zach Cunningham, nice reception, but watch how he runs it all the way back, takes a hit by Baker Mayfield, but gets the ball across the plane for the touchdown. Texans lead 17-0 over the Browns.
Back to Jim Nantz.
Well, that's midway second quarter. Thank you, fellas. And Houston trying to pick up what would be its 9th consecutive win. Up big early. Handoff to Edwards.
I mean, look at how much this game has just changed. You remember Jackson had the wide open pass to Brown running across the field. That was a walk-in touchdown. And it was all of a sudden it's 14-3 if he just floats the ball over there. And he misses that. Fumble happens. Atlanta scores. Now you're in for a dogfight, Baltimore, when it could have been a 14-3 game early on the road. Now the crowd's back into it.
After all of that, the fake successfully pulled off, 2nd and 6. And again, north-south runner he is, Gus Edwards, who had 0 snaps the first 5 weeks of the season. And then the last 2 games, Tony, have been over 115 yards.
Well, he's running downhill. He's a little shiftier than you think, but he's a big guy, and it's hard to tackle guys downhill when you're worried about the horizontal run game. If the quarterback can run sideways, it's hard to go straight downhill on the running back.
3rd and just a yard. Edwards, there's that shift you talked about. The middle was plugged up, so he made a little cut left and picked up the first. Edwards for 2 and a new set of downs. Baltimore runs the football more than any team in the league, Tony, and in Jackson's 2 starts, the Ravens rushed for a total of 509 yards over those 2 weeks, most in the league in that span.
That's a lot. And I tell you, it opens up. That's why people are wide open. You've seen 2 or 3 people wide open in a quarter of football for this Ravens offense.
There's a handoff to Kenny Dixon. He's just across midfield. Gain of 4. Well, last night you visited with, as you see, Matt Ryan. You visited with Coach John Harbaugh, and it's always entertaining when you have him in a production meeting. He's one of those guys you learn something from every time.
I think he's a fantastic coach, and he really has the pulse of his team and the players, and I love the way they play.
2nd and 6. And able to squeeze out a couple of yards. Again, it's Dixon with Reed on the coverage. He started looking at big picture, and again, all these coaches, they don't want to get really anywhere down the road mentally than what's directly in front of them, but they still, we discussed it with them. It's not out of the question that if they got this little streak going, particularly this 2-game road stretch, that Pittsburgh could still be caught in that division.
Pittsburgh's schedule is very difficult going forward. They got the Saints, the Patriots, I think the
Chargers tonight. 3rd and 4.
Wow.
Oh, McCann Jackson loses the football. It's recovered, though, by Baltimore.
Well, and this is where Atlanta, you got to give them credit. These runs right here on 3rd down and medium have been very successful for Baltimore in these last 2 games. I mean, to say we're just going to run the ball on 3rd and 5 is a big deal. And that ball comes right out of his hands. Very fortunate to come right back to him. Kicks it with his knee, comes back, bounces. But good job, Atlanta, being prepared for that. Most teams wouldn't make a call like that to stop it.
Cook with the punt, down by Hardy, or fair caught by Hardy at the 10-yard line. The Verizon halftime report. is coming up shortly with JB, Phil, Nate, Boomer, Coach Cowher. Scores and highlights. Verizon halftime report. Matt Ryan, again, has thrown for at least 250 in every game this year and completing over 70% of his passes. Going to run it this time. In fact, there have only been 9 all-time full seasons where quarterbacks were over 70% for the full year. We've got 4 right now on pace to do that.
That's incredible.
There's
honestly,
Matt.
Over 70. You know how hard it is to hit 70%? Everything's got to go your way. I mean, that's really impressive. 375. Him, Matt Ryan, the season's having. It's going to, you know, at 4 and 7, you're just not going to get talked about with it. But he is playing great football.
6 out of 12 today. Tony, I know you were close to being on that all-time list. 1 of 9 to have done it. Just missed out.
I did?
His 2nd and 8. We have some data, some analytics. There's Ryan getting chased. Ryan on the run, got hit from behind, and it's incomplete. Ryan's fine, back to his feet. Yeah, Tony, your best season as far as completion percentage? 69.9%. You were 1 completion, 1 spike at the end of a victory.
Are you kidding me? Who made me spike in that game? It was that close?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Throw. If you only
well, you know what? That's about winning. That's the stat. It was more important to win.
Good job.
It's a team thing, guys. And that's what you have to understand. A lot of us in here are just way too selfish about individual stats. And it's just not the way I go. So you're welcome for that, team.
That's not your thing. 3rd and 8. Oh, what a move. As flag comes out on the hit. Julio was able to catch it and swoop it to get the first down yardage, and then got hit by Humphrey. Ball popped out once it hit the ground.
Well,
watch this move. Watch this move to.
Oh, no helmet to helmet.
Nope. Field is an incomplete pass. Personal foul. Lowering the helmet to initiate contact. Defense. 15-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
Well, they saw helmet to helmet down there on Humphrey.
Yeah, but it's really not. But watch this blitz. They overload this side of the field. Safety's going to roll over, and he gets to stay in the flat. So Humphrey gets to stay there. So when he comes out, he comes right off his guy and doesn't get a helmet to helmet. Watch. It's just the shoulder pad. And so Atlanta's getting a break here.
Big break. That was on a 3rd down throw. It was incomplete. Hit him with the shoulder. And here's the first down run. Coleman for 8. We're going to bring in from the studio back in New York, Gene Steratore. Our head official was watching that. What happened there, Gene, with the officials?
I'd agree with Tony's assessment based on the way Brad Allen announced it, Jim, that I don't think this is contact with the helmet. I think we can consider, though, contact to a defenseless receiver, even though it's incomplete. And that's any contact to the head or neck area. And Julio Jones does not become a runner in this play, so I could support that, but I don't think the legal use of the helmet applies there.
First down run for the Falcons and another flag down. So, Gene, what you're saying is maybe they just verbalized it the wrong way.
No, they thought he hit him with his helmet.
Okay.
Right?
If he announced it that way, I think that's what he got informationally. I'm telling you, after looking at the replay, though, it is contact to the head or neck area to a defenseless receiver.
Here's an illegal hands to the face call on Smith, who's flagged for the 2nd time in this game.
Yeah, and Harbaugh's upset because if you make that call and you say it's helmet to helmet, then that's what you're looking for, and he doesn't. The defenseless area, head or neck area, I think I could see that too.
Yeah, defenseless receiver, what Gene was saying. Could definitely see that.
But you're upset as a head coach because you're just hearing the call and you're like, that's not what happened. But Atlanta with a break and
another defensive penalty gives him 1st and 10 at the 44. Ryan's throw in and out of the hands again of Julio Jones. And a flag back at the, in the offensive backfield.
And this D-line of Baltimore plays so hard, it puts pressure.
Holding. Offense, number 71. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
And it just puts so much pressure on the offensive line to hold up. And you'll see right here, you get a double team. Schweitzer even gets a hit by Ortiz, but just, I'm going to call that.
And they take the penalty to knock it back to a 1st and 20.
It's been called pretty fair both ways, though. You've had a little bit of both sides.
Penalties on the last 3 snaps. Ryan protected. He's got Hooper, who's able to get about 18 of the 20 needed, setting up 2nd and short.
Wonderful job. Watch the head of Matt Ryan. He's going to move the defenders, and in this specific case, he's moving Smith with his eyes left, and he comes right back and finds Hooper over the middle of the field. Veteran quarterback moving the defender who's in a window that's eventually going to be open.
I tell you, Hooper is sneaky good. What he's done this season, he's averaging 5 catches a game. He's already got 3 in this one for 41. 2nd and 3, and the toss to Coleman. And the Ravens are there to shut him down and knock him back a couple. Michael Pierce.
Michael Pierce is so good. I mean, look at the size of him. If you're a center and you're going against him, you're like, oh my goodness, this is going to be a tough one today. Every single play, he comes in there and he's coming with energy, and he's coming after you. Like, some guys take plays off that are big. He is not one of them. He goes after you, and he's great for them in the run game. And you saw it on that 4th and 1 earlier when they stopped him, and you see it again, just pushing people right back into the quarterback.
Yeah, he's made a couple of big plays already. 3rd and 5.
Got a lot of pressure. What side is Matt going to block? The top side or the bottom?
Pass by Ryan is knocked out, incomplete. Ridley, as he was falling backwards, saw the ball knocked loose by Humphrey.
This is too bad because this is a perfect throw by Matt Ryan and a tough read against a tough look. And Ridley, the ball is in your breadbasket. Just grab it and go down. Really, you got to give Humphrey credit for getting his hand in there, though, at the last minute when he didn't put the ball away quick enough.
2nd punt coming up for the Falcons. Washer. And Jones will let this one bounce into the end zone. Net of only 31. Back in 30 after this from Progressive Insurance.
Got directions to the nightclub here. And if you get lost, just hit me on the old horn.
Tom's my best friend, but ever since he bought a new house...
It's a $10 cover? Oh, okay. Didn't see that on the website.
He's been acting more and more like his dad.
Come on, guys, jump in. The water's fine. Tom Pritchard. How we doing? Hi there, Tom Pritchard. Can we get a round of jalapeno poppers for me and the boys, please? I've been saving a lot of money with Progressive lately, so...
Progressive can't protect you from becoming your parents, but we can protect your home and auto when you bundle with us.
We're back with the Ravens down 10-7. Falcons touchdown coming on a fumble return by Beasley, covering 74 yards. Final 4 minutes of the first half. As Jackson keeping it, stepping out after a gain of about 4. Next Saturday, Tony, at 3 Eastern, it's a game of honor. The 119th Army-Navy game. Army riding a 7-game winning streak and looks for its 3rd straight win over Navy. Coverage of this great tradition begins with College Football Today, 2:30 Eastern on CBS. One of the absolute greatest sporting events in this great land.
You're not kidding.
2nd and 6. Jackson flips it. Should have been caught. Snead this time, the one who dropped it.
Well, that's a lot of drop passes so far in one half of football. Some missed open guys and some drop passes. Good job by Jackson sliding in the pocket, and really a perfect throw to Snead. Gotta catch that. Ooh, this is the loudest it's been so far.
Yeah, it's not jam-packed.
They need something to root for, you know. They're 4 and 7. They haven't felt great with the...
But it's been a quiet crowd, to your point, up to this moment. Jackson's missed on his last 5 throws. 3rd and 6. Shovel pass. And a flag is out as they're able to bring down Montgomery about 2 yards shy of what he needed.
And you see how aggressive the guys in the front four are in 3rd and 6. Atlanta just doesn't get enough teams into 3rd and obvious passing down situations. And you should decline this if you're Atlanta. It's 4th down.
Yeah, going to be 4th and 2. No reason to give him another chance at it. And that's what Dan Quinn is able to signal in.
Holding. Offense, number 72. The penalty is declined. 4th down. Charge timeout. Charge timeout. Atlanta. Second. It will be a 30.
The timeout called by the Falcons.
When?
Yeah, well, I've heard him call that. But they're ready to go. So
it is a timeout, and we're still just going to play and see what happens.
Yeah.
If I'm Atlanta, I'm like, all right, let's see what happens, and then I'll tell you I still call timeout.
Cannot. That is not what the timeout looks like. So they've taken it off the board. Maybe they'll reevaluate that. There's a kick that's returnable for Hardy. And Hardy gets to the sideline with a stiff arm and out right at the 50. And 18-yard run back. Tracy, down to you.
Well, Jim, I love this initiative by the NFL. My cause, my cleats. And today it gives Matt Ryan the opportunity to thank not only the March of Dimes, but the Miracle Babies at Northside Hospital here in Atlanta. Both, he said, mean so much to him and his family after his boys were born prematurely in February. He told me it's an opportunity to not only raise awareness and to raise money, because the cleats will be auctioned off, but also a way to say thank you. Jim?
Well, beyond the game, the NFL players all letting their cleats do the talking. Love this initiative too, Tracy. Part of my cause, my cleats, as you mentioned. Supporting the charitable causes important to them through these custom designed cleats. And that's for just a couple. You can discover how players are making a difference in their communities and bid on their special edition cleats at NFL.com/mycause. My cleats. It's going to be a very special Christmas this season for Matt Ryan, his wife Sarah. They're going to be celebrating the holiday season for the first time. His parents, the little twin boys born about 9 months ago.
Nothing better, is there?
It's as sweet as it gets. 2nd and 8. Defender right there to prevent any progress by Smith. That's Brandon Carr locking it down. Loss of 1.
That was a pretty late hit. It was close. I thought they might actually throw the penalty. Williams was coming in late in that play and got away with it.
I'm going to run it down all the way to the 2-minute warning.
Yep. Got one timeout, plenty of time. No reason to give the ball back to Baltimore. If you all of a sudden have to punt on the next play, it's just one less timeout for Baltimore.
Atlanta leads at 10-7. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 53.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Dell and the XPS 13 with Dell Cinema. And by Macy's.
Down to the last 2 minutes of the second quarter. And you can see the quarterback so far, Jackson, 4 out of 9 to go along with just 9 yards on 6 carries, while Ryan 9 of 17. 3rd and 9 coming up for the Falcons. And they get to Ryan. Zadarius Smith. Man, did he fly across that line. He's checked the flag.
It's just communication. It's really hard to determine who's blocking who. And I think that's where Baltimore gives teams trouble every week in passing situations. The communication from the quarterback to the O-line to the running back on who's blocking who.
Illegal formation foul as the tight end was covered on the offense. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Okay, so now that'll give the Ravens some time to do something in a 2-minute offense with all 3 timeouts. Plus, you got to watch. This could be a returnable punt coming up for Cyrus Jones, the Baltimore native who just last week made his presence felt. 70-yard touchdown return in the game against the Raiders. Fair catch is the call at the 18. Again, the Verizon halftime report is coming up with JB, Phil, Nate Boomer, Coach Cowher, all the latest scores and highlights as they take us around the league on the Verizon halftime report. Rams are up 10 on Detroit. On the road, the Rams are. Houston, I thought Cleveland might be with its win on the road last week, 2-game winning streak going in. I know Houston had won 8 in a row, but right now the Texans blanking the Browns at 20-0. Miami up 14-zip on Buffalo. You'll hear how, see why on the highlights Verizon halftime report. Jackson takes what's given to him across the middle. The ball comes out. Might have been held on to long enough for a catch by Montgomery. When I'm hearing whistles, they call it down. They call him down with a catch and down.
And that's probably the right call. I just think Baltimore, this is interesting. We got a young quarterback, 3rd game. He's been running very successfully, and he's down.
Yep.
But now it's like, how fast-paced do you want to go? If you get up on the ball.
They hand it off to Montgomery, and he's near a first. They've just had a real hard time holding on to the football, Jackson, with a couple of fumbles, a couple of drops by the likes of Crabtree and others.
Well, now all of a sudden it's a 1st down. Oh, it's 3rd down.
Yeah, they didn't give it to
3rd
him.
inches. Now you got to hand the ball off here. You can't take a chance.
Oh, you can take that chance and just able to toss it like a dart throw.
Timeout, Baltimore.
Montgomery, and 51 seconds. And a 1st down.
That was the same play that the fumble happened on. Just throw it right to the back, right over the ball.
Right.
Move right along. That was well done by him.
Well, Tony, February 3rd is the date. We'll be here with the entire CBS Sports family to the great city of Atlanta to present to you Super Bowl 53. It'll be the 3rd Super Bowl contested here in this city, having hosted in 1994 and 2063 days away. Who will it be? Can't wait to find out.
Well, I know you're going to make it.
You're going to be here too.
Most likely.
Most likely. You questionable? Or are you on the injury
traffic
report?
Sometimes.
Traffic. Okay. We'll work something out. 1st down. Jackson looking. All kinds of time. Lofts it. Flag in the secondary. As he finally tossed it in the direction of Crabtree.
Well, he had a ton of time. And
Pass interference. Defense, number 23. By rule, the ball is placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic. 1st down.
That was on Alford, who Crabtree does a great job. You saw earlier in the game when he all of a sudden ran a route and then ran right back and gave a window. Well, Crabtree does the same thing where he's running a route and Alfred grabs him. And they're going to see that every single time. Good job by Crabtree to continue to move as the quarterback has time.
So with the penalty and other resources, they've gone from the 18 to the 50.
I love it. He's checking it down. Save the timeout one more and get up on the ball.
And they've called the timeout already. That was Dixon with the catch. And now one more timeout in the pocket. 39 seconds to go. Neither offense, Tony, has scored since the opening drive for each side. A field goal by Atlanta to start the game. Ravens get the handle. After that, go all the way down the field and score the touchdown on the Jackson run from 13 yards out. After that, all it's been is the Beasley return from 74 away.
To me, Atlanta should feel fortunate right now at 10-7 because Baltimore's defensive plan has been pretty, sound. They've really made it difficult on Atlanta. But turnovers it's everything in this league, and you can score on one, the whole half shifts. But right now, if you're Baltimore, you got plenty of time, 40 seconds. You still have a timeout. You don't have to get a chunk play yet. You just got to get this ball, into field goal range one way or another.
was a great catch. Crabtree able to grab it for the first.
Up on the ball now.
Timeout call by Baltimore.
So this is a great catch by Crabtree. But that was a perfect throw as well. Big, strong hands. That's Crabtree.
You didn't like the timeout, though?
I didn't, because the only reason, well, our young guy, look at that. Man, Jones is all over that. But it's your young guy. It's like, let's calm him down. He's not calling the play at the line of scrimmage. And we know we're in field goal range now. So we got at least an attempt at a field goal. But for a veteran quarterback right now, you would have probably, those last 2 timeouts, you'd have probably used one now, but not 2 of them in these last 2 plays, because you have them on their heels. You're going to get a chunk play when they're on their heels. That's when you create the 15 to 25-yard play.
You don't want to mismanage the time and deny one of the great legs in the history of the game a chance to tie it going into the half. And now they're going to hurry up on the ball as they get the completion to Snead for 8.
Well, now you got to take a little bit of a chance. So it's right here. It's like, let's take a shot. Atlanta's going to have one safety high. You see him right there. If no one goes back deep, take a shot outside on the sideline.
You got to be careful. You get tackled in the field of play. Sideline incomplete.
Well, they threw it to the sideline.
Now 14 seconds. It gets precarious because, again, no timeouts.
You can throw this ball over the middle of the field, but it has to be fast. It has to be an inside slant, and it has to get a first down. So if you're Atlanta, you're in a really tough spot here. You can't give up a touchdown. And so you're going to actually call a little bit softer defense, and you can protect the sideline a little bit. If I am Baltimore, I'm saying we're running go routes, and I'm running slants inside. I'm going to throw a quick slant inside and get up and spike it for a first down with about 2-3 seconds. Or we're throwing it deep, and they're obviously just going to run the football and then spike it, it looks like. Look.
We'll see how the rookie quarterback handles it. Whoop, whistle first. And it's going to be a delayed game.
Delay game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
So they're protecting the rookie now. This is what they're doing in this drive. That play was going to be nothing more than a wasted clock play. He was going to roll right and throw it out of bounds over the head of the receiver and waste 5 seconds, and they were just going to kick the field goal.
Well, if they were going to do that there.
No, you're not going to do it now, most likely.
Yeah.
But I don't see why you would do anything different.
And that's the point.
Still my rule now. Take a shot outside and throw a quick slant and spike it right over the ball.
Pass caught out of bounds. Stepping out quickly is Crabtree. Play that took 4 seconds.
Do the same thing. And if he's covered, throw it over his head if you're Baltimore.
You know what? Harbaugh says, I'm not going to risk it. Go ahead and bring out Tucker.
If Matt Ryan's on the field, you're going to do that. But I like that with Harbaugh. You have a rookie. He's in his 3rd game. He doesn't have that awareness yet for situational awareness in the football game. You know, in the NFL, having done this 50 times. Just protect him. Do what he did. He got you in field goal range. You're good.
41 yards for the most accurate kicker in NFL history. Over 90%. Justin Tucker. Again, 41. And that kick is drilled.
Well, big drive by Baltimore to tie that up, especially after having felt like you controlled the first half a little bit. But the big play by Atlanta keeps it tied.
They went 59 yards to set up the field goal in about 100 seconds. It's what we were talking about, the AFC North standings, this division. Steelers and Chargers, big showdown tonight, and look forward to seeing that. That's going to be something else.
And like you said, if Baltimore were to win this, and they're 7-5, and Pittsburgh loses tonight,
half a game, and Pittsburgh's schedule's tough. It's, you know, it's not out of the realm to see this thing play out a lot of different ways. And you see Cincinnati without Dalton the rest of the way, and then Cleveland getting trounced at the moment, 23-0. By the way, when Lamar Jackson won the Heisman in 2016, second to him was Deshaun Watson, and third in the voting that year was Baker Mayfield, with Watson and Mayfield squaring off right now at the moment, this same window down in Houston.
Pretty good talented trio there.
Yes. In fact, Jackson, the youngest to ever be awarded the Heisman Trophy.
So what kind of play do they run here, Jim? It's a down.
I think I can call this one, actually.
I was going to say, I think you got this one.
Whether the sun in my eyes or not.
No, they got a timeout. You can be real aggressive here.
Right.
And you can down it for 1 yard or for 2 yards for loss. It's up to you as a quarterback.
Well, the Falcons, for that half, Tony, had only 88 yards of offense. 28 coming in the second quarter. They got 74 by Beasley on a fumble return for a score.
And that's the half right now. It's 10-10 because the big time play of the half goes to Atlanta, and really the rest of the game goes to Baltimore.
10-10 at the intermission. Halftime is next after these first half highlights from Verizon and a word from your local station.
Hey guys, get something for Nana.
Brian.
Thomas.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hey, quick question. Do you like paying for things that you don't need?
No.
And do you want to get things you love for free?
Who wouldn't?
Exactly.
Right.
That's why Verizon decided that everyone in the family should get the unlimited they want without paying for things they don't. And why it now comes with 6 months free Apple Music.
Dad, Apple Music.
He gets it. This guy gets it.
This holiday, get the gift you want, the music you love on the network you deserve. Switch now and get $300 off our best phones.
Well, defense has ruled here in Atlanta with the kneel down on the last play of the half by Ryan. The Falcons have, 87 yards. That's the fewest total of first half yardage in a home game for the Falcons since 2008. And the longest offensive play of the game was on the fake punt.
I knew you were going to
by Cook.
And you're right. Baltimore, this is why in the opening we said the one team you don't want to see that's a wild card, let's say, it's Baltimore. They can come into your stadium and almost act like they're in their stadium with their defense. Most teams love pressuring more at home because it's hard to get the communication from the quarterback to the center to the lineman to the running back. At home, you can do that. Matt Ryan today, it looks like they're on the road almost, and that's Baltimore's credit. They make it very difficult on you.
There are the first half stats. Again, the Falcons go back, actually it was 2003 since they had as little as 87 yards in the first half in a game against Tampa Bay. Doug Johnson was the Falcons quarterback for that game. All right, Tracy, what did you learn at halftime?
Well, Jim, fumbles, penalties, drops in that first half for the Ravens. I spoke with John Harbaugh, and he said it starts with his guys catching passes to help his young quarterback out. And then as for Lamar Jackson, he said he just needs to remember that ball security is more important than just trying to make a play. As for Dan Quinn, expect to see some more up-tempo in this second half. And defensively, it's all about keeping Jackson in the pocket, tackling him right, and forcing turnovers.
There were only 3 snaps, thank you, Tracy, in the red zone in that first half, and those all were by the Ravens on their first possession of the game. That is Edwards now with his 8th carry for a total of 34. They've had their miscues, the football being dropped, coming out of their hands. We saw the Jackson fumble, the second one that was recovered, the first one going back the other way for the touchdown, the Falcons' only touchdown.
And that was only in a half of football.
Right.
Who knows what's in store for this half?
2nd and 6. Big into the line, now roll out. Sidearm throw, and it's caught at the 50 by Andrews, his 3rd catch of the afternoon.
Well, and once again, Andrews comes across the field, 89. Just going to find that soft spot. Slow down a little, slow down, and then get angled higher to run away. But Jackson did a great job making the defender come get him and opening that lane for Andrews.
Again, Jackson had rushed, Tony, for 190 yards total the last 2 weeks. Now, today, he had the 13-yard run for a touchdown. But other than that, his other 8 carries have gone for -4 yards total.
And I think that's by design by Atlanta. But that's why people are wide open on the outside.
Here is Jackson keeping it. And he's sliced under by Alford.
This Atlanta scheme, Jim, is very similar to Seattle. Quinn comes over, they run this system, and what that does is all the eyes are on the quarterback. and they're in a zone type of defense that sprinkles in man on passing situations. And when you're zone, you get to look at the quarterback. Everyone gets to know their assignment before the snap. It's very simple. The key then is to use your assignment and your rules. But when you fake the handoff, you sometimes have to go in that gap, and that's what creates wide open lanes behind you. That's why I want to see Baltimore play action.
2nd and 8. That was Beasley limping on the sideline. Nice nifty move by Jackson. Fakes with the head and keeps it for a nice carry down to the 34.
Well, good job by Jackson getting out of the pocket. He already predetermined he's going to throw to the back over the ball. He's like, and back. Nope. And that's one area where it's like that ball should have gone outside the numbers with a throw, and that's where he's got to improve. Coach Harbaugh talked about it. When you throw outside the numbers, you got to be accurate, aggressive, and on time. And I think you're finding that sometimes that's a little bit not his forte right now.
That was the longest run of the game. Went for 14. And in the meantime, Edwards give him 1. So Beasley's been on that sideline. We've seen him a couple times. Now he's ready to return. Still, though, gimpy. Now he's going to backpedal and come back out.
So when you're in 2nd and 9 and you go against Matt Ryan, there's a very strong chance that you're throwing the football, and you know that as a defense you come after. Against Jackson, there's a very strong chance he's handing it off. So you're kind of in that, like, difficult little spot of what do we call here?
2nd and 9. Need to get to the 24 for the first. Plowing ahead. And that is Edwards. Alex Collins, by the way, who had been the primary back most of the season, IR just a couple of days ago with a foot injury. And that timing comes with Kenny Dixon coming off of IR, who we've seen a couple of times today. But this kid, Gus Edwards, his teammates like him. He doesn't have a whole lot to say. Everybody, the first thing they say, he's quiet.
He is quiet. You see Coach Harbaugh there? I think he's telling his coordinator, you can go for it on 4th down if we're close.
3rd and 4. Pass. Oh, it looked like a hold. And there the flag comes out. Niesman had hold of Mark Andrews.
And I don't think he needed to. He was playing.
Pass interference. Defense, number 41. By rule, the ball is placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic. 1st down.
Let's see. He's got great defense. He's inside. He is. He's grabbing the left arm of Andrews. Right there, he's grabbing it. You can see it right down there. He's grabbing, and that's doesn't allow him to get his hand up. Correct call, even though I think the ball probably would have been a little over his head.
That's the 4th defensive penalty against Atlanta. And now, again, only 3 red zone snaps in the game up to this point. Here's the 4th. Taking to the line, Jackson. Where's he going to go with it? Running out of real estate and bounced out with a loss of about 4.
Got to throw that one away. 1st down and 10. 4 yards down here is everything. And all the misdirection. You can see Atlanta handles it pretty well. You had Snead open, but right there you got to throw that ball away. That's 4 yards in the red zone. That's a lot of yards. That's not the same as it is at the, coming out at your own 20, because the defense has to respect the run. And right here now it's like, okay, he's almost has to pass the ball. Now when you're going against Jackson, that's never the case. You almost play run on every down.
From the 13, he scored from the 13 in that first quarter. And here he goes again. Jackson inside the 10 and able to hop and jump down to about the 3.
And there's that 3 or 4 yards he lost. Great play design. Well done.
Ronnie Stanley, their left tackle, shaken up. So he holds on to his ankle for a moment and talks it over with the medical staff of the Ravens. Stanley, the 1st-round pick from a couple years ago, 3 years back at Notre Dame.
Ooh, got him on the knee.
Stanley trying to throw a lead block for his quarterback, got hit in the knee. He walked to the bench. And meanwhile, Jermaine Illuminor comes in for him at left tackle. 3rd and goal. Baltimore trying to break out of this 10-10 tie. Jackson. Tough And somewhat awkward throw in the direction of Nick Boyle, who was covered up, and at the last moment I think Jackson was wanting to try to just almost reel that football back in. So now Tucker will come out for a short field goal. Chippy. Here's a guy that, well, 7 years in the league, he's done a lot of remarkable things, that's for sure, but he's never missed an indoor field goal attempt. With the one he made earlier today from 41, this one just 21. This would give him 19 out of 19 in his career indoors, and it's good. And the Ravens go back on top at 13-10. As you see, number 41 on the sideline, Niesman. Let's talk about the man known as 41, President George Herbert Walker Bush. He passed away at 10:10 p.m. Central Time at his home in Houston on Friday night. Wednesday has been declared as a national day of mourning, as he will be remembered at the National Cathedral in Washington. What a great life and a great man, President Bush, passing away Friday at the age of 94.
Well, I know you did something on our telecast earlier at the pregame show, and it was wonderful, Jim, and you know how dear a friend he was to you, and the prayers go out to the entire Bush family.
He was such a sports fan, Tony, and I know you got to meet him.
Oh, he was
just, you know, of course, everybody talked about how he was a baseball player at Yale, but he not only loved baseball, he loved his Texas A&M Aggies, and he loved his Houston Texans.
He loves sport. He loves golf.
Golf.
President's Cup.
Big in golf.
He was a wonderful man, and I know a lot of people care deeply about.
And a man who did so much for so many, no matter what your political affiliation might be, as evidence, and that's what we talked about in the Tribune on the NFL Today, is a wonderful relationship he had with President Clinton. And how those two, who were once political rivals, came together and developed a really strong bond and friendship. It's something that is very special. People should take note of in this country today. How we may have our differences, but we have our likenesses, and there's respect and always in civility every step of the way. All right, the Falcons, 1st and 10. And look at that Ravens defense take another 3 yards off the board for Atlanta. Boy, this Atlanta team, they have not been losing this year because of the offense. Now, maybe they've had some breakdowns in the red zone, but they have moved the ball. They have scored on teams, but they have just been shut down. 85 yards of offense.
And now you get all this pressure package because you lost 2 yards. Did you get it right? Who's blocking everyone?
Ryan trying to get it back. Good catch. That's Sanu. I think they're going to mark him about a half-yard shy of the first. So Sanu with his first catch. By the way, Julio Jones, who had a couple of opportunities that went through his hands in the first half, only 2 catches for 18.
Well, it's really not about an individual player going against one guy trying to be like, we got to win this matchup. It's trying to find the right guy who's open versus the pressure looks. And Matt Ryan's obviously going to take a break. There's a Wildcat situation.
Yes. It's Sanu, who has a perfect quarterback rating, folks, if he decides to throw. He played quarterback part-time at Rutgers. Look at this. 6 for 6 in his career. Will that stay intact? No. Over the head of Julio Jones. So a little trickery does not pan out for Atlanta. Let's go down to Tracy.
Jim, Lamar Jackson right now in the blue 10. He got kicked in the head on the last drive. The officials up top called down to have him checked for a concussion. He is in concussion protocol right now. As soon as I get an update, I will pass it on.
And it got hit, oddly enough, by Stanley, his teammate, who was also injured on the play. Thank you, Tracy. 4th and 1.
Well, we're going to have RG3 then coming out to start this one after break. If you want to take us there, Jim?
Yeah, 54-yard punt. We'll be right back to Atlanta.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by State Farm. Here to help life go right. Subway. Make it what you want. And by the Ram 1500, Motor Trend's 2019 Truck of the Year.
Well, one player who has not seen a whole lot of action in a long time is the man we all know as RG3. Saw just a few seconds of the field against Cincinnati, but he has not thrown a pass in this league in 2 years. And now with Jackson be evaluated, look at this first snap. He fields it smartly and able to hand it off for a rush of about 4. But Griffin, this is some way to step back into things, isn't it?
That's a worst case scenario. Great grab by him. And this is really interesting. You know, right now I'm thinking, if you're Atlanta, do you call this game as you see Jackson out of the tent
without his helmet?
Do you call this game more like Flacco's in the game? I mean, because you don't have tape, really. I mean, he played good in the preseason, but he hasn't run this system yet. He's got a little bit, obviously, of Jackson in him, but is he the old RG3? We'll see.
2nd and 6. Quickly turns around to hand it off. And that's Dixon. Breaking tackles and chugging ahead. Got a first down. Jackson is going in. That ball came out for a moment with Dixon. As you see Max Williams on a knee.
Lots of drama going on here in Baltimore.
No kidding. And back to Griffin. You know, we asked Coach Harbaugh last night about the possibility we would see him. He said, you know, he's a starter in this league. He's come a long way. He was so impressed with what he's seen, not only in preseason, but just in practice every day.
Well, you know what? He's at the point now where all the early success, all the stuff where you have to be a certain guy, you're trying to show everyone that you're the same guy as his first. It's about him learning his craft and getting better and better week to week. And I think he's enjoying the process now. It always used to be like, I have to play great. The pressure's on me. The whole world, I have to do all that. Now you're just playing football and getting better. And I think what happens is you get to that point in your career where it's like, it's about nothing more than improving every single day and see what happens. When you get your chance, you'll have an opportunity.
So Jackson jogging to the Ravens locker room as Griffin now has a new set of downs. Griffin, who you would have started against, you would have had your matchups in the day.
Yeah, and they got off to such a great start. They had Kyle Shanahan, Mike Shanahan there. They brought together that new scheme that you're seeing a lot of teams run versions of now, but that was really the introduction to some of the college stuff that they were doing. It was a play fake in the backfield out of shotgun. No one was running shotgun play fakes with deep passing down the field. And then all of a sudden you'd hand it off, and then the quarterback would keep it.
I got the sense just listening to Coach Harbaugh that Griffin, being the third-team quarterback and trying to reestablish himself, be a presence in the league, has also changed his persona a little bit. The RG3 thing. Not quite what they really view it as anymore. Nice stiff on near at first is Boyle. In fact, when he was referring to his quarterback, he called him Rob.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm looking at my board. Rob Griffin. What happened to RG3?
Yeah, it was not anymore. Like I said, you get older, you just play the game, and you just get to help your football team win. And right now, this is tough, like I just said on Atlanta, because RG3 is going to get that ball out on time a little bit faster than Lamar Jackson. Now, Jackson has that rare ability. But at one time, RG3 had that same thing. And, you know, we just see as the years go by. But I'm really anxious to see the development of what Harbaugh talked about right here. And see, if you're Atlanta, it's tough because it's like, man, we had this whole thing set up for Lamar. Now, this guy reads it a little bit differently.
First down at the 35. Again, staying on the ground. And Edwards has 4 more. More on Lamar Jackson. Tracy.
Well, Jim, you saw him go into the locker room. The Ravens went through the proper protocol, reviewed the kick to the head, was checked by the independent neurologist. He actually was telling doctors that he felt as though he was fine, he can go back in, but they felt like there was just too much distractions, too many noises going on inside that blue tent, and they had to take him inside for further evaluation. They have not ruled him out yet, though, Jim.
Okay, 2nd and 6. And again, not thrown the ball since he's been inserted, but they keep advancing the ball with the run. A drive that started back at the 13. They're going to have 3rd and short coming up.
It tells me right now they're sticking with the Jackson game plan, and the easy way to tell that for people at home is shotgun. When RG3 hands the ball off and he's in shotgun, that's more of the Jackson. They run the same plays they ran when they had Flacco in, they're just in shotgun with Jackson, and now RG3 is doing the same thing. I would sprinkle up both of them. I would put them under center, then I'd put them in shotgun. Make it very difficult on Atlanta in their calls and which one to go with.
Griffin under center, 3rd and 1 for the Ravens. Up a field goal in the game. And takes the hit, absorbs it, and bounces ahead for the first down. Update time. JP and Boomer, all yours.
Giants go up by 10.
All right, could we have an upset in the making here? Odell Beckham Jr. is going to come down with this 1-yard touchdown pass on 4th and 1. Odell also threw in a touchdown pass earlier in the game. They lead 24-14.
Back to Jim Nantz.
Okay, thank you, fellas. The Bears, we saw them in their last game, the win on Thanksgiving Day at Detroit at 8-3.
45.
And the Giants right now have the lead on that 4th down touchdown throw. So first down. Dixon with a wiggle. And a gain of about 12.
Well, this is where your backup comes in and the motion doesn't quite work perfectly. So you're going to see the motion. He's like, okay, should I stop? Keep going? When's it going to get snapped? I'll just keep running. And then all of a sudden, you see wide open holes. Because right now, as a defense, all your calls are predicated on a certain guy. And it's a little bit different when new people come in the game at the quarterback position.
54 is mine. No, 42, 42.
Approaching 300 yards of offense. Atlanta has not reached 100 yet. Who's looked good in his return. Takes a few big hits, and they'll give him 4 more.
You know, this never happens, but what happens is RG3 gets hurt.
Well, it's got to be Sam Cook. I'm serious.
He is.
He did complete the pass successfully on a 4th down fake in the first half, the punter, and he is their emergency quarterback.
But you can't. I mean, yes, he throws a good ball, but does he know what
we're told by the Ravens.
Does he know what 42 ISO is? I mean, that's what you need, is the guy who knows what the run is, so you can just hand it off.
Can he run the option?
Yeah. Right now, Atlanta needs to just make RG3 run the ball. Take the tailback out of the game.
2nd and 6. His first pass since being with Cleveland in 2016 is complete. Well, actually, it was the other one he threw earlier to the near side, too. Correct. We've actually had, this is the thing, we've had 5 different passers in the game, if you will, because you had Sanu throw one, and you had, Sanu and Ryan.
Pass interference, offense number 15, 10-yard penalty, still second down.
Interfered on what was Griffin's 2nd pass attempt. Jackson, Cook, and Griffin, the 3 passers, if you will, so far in the game on the Baltimore side.
He's blocking downfield. You have to stay at the line of scrimmage. If that ball gets out right away, then you're okay. But once it takes that half a second, now your receiver's downfield.
So the left tackle has returned, Tony. Ronnie Stanley. Good news for the Ravens. And able to sidearm it over to Montgomery, the former Packer. Finally sees the end run. The run end, I should say, by Montgomery. 14 yards on that one.
Well, it's just a screen. And watch the right guard, Marshall Yanda right here. He's going to fake like I'm blocking you, and then he gets out. And he's the guy that Montgomery does a good job being patient with. That's the guy you want to stay behind. Which way are you going? That way? Good.
Picked up in a trade right before the deadline from Green Bay. This drive's taken almost 7 minutes, and now it faces a 3rd and 2.
Well, there's 12 guys on the field for Atlanta. They got away with it.
But the Ravens lose a yard with Edwards. And already they bring out Tucker for the long field goal.
I would challenge this. I think they might have had 12 men on the field.
There was a Falcon defender racing to that far sideline.
It's really close if you look at him sprinting across. Play it all the way. I don't know if we can see the far sideline. But it's really close up top on your screen. And snap.
Gosh, it's close.
I'd be throwing a flag here if I was Harbaugh.
And you might have been just in time. There it is. As Tucker goes ahead and kicks it through anyway.
It's going to determine whether we have the right spot to see exactly on the snap.
Baltimore is challenging the ruling on the field that there were not 12 players on the defense.
So, Coach Harbaugh wants to challenge that. Was he off the sideline? Time. Back with Brad Allen.
After reviewing the play, there were 12 players on the defense. Therefore, that's a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Please reset the game clock to 1:37. 1:37 on the game clock, please.
Big challenge won by Harbaugh, and here's why.
Yeah, you got Richards running off the sideline, and you can see right there how much effort I put into that timeout when you guys were away when I drew this up.
Some creative stuff there, Tony.
Well, you know, first rule of TV, take credit even when it's not you who's doing it.
Man, you were so...
That was a really good challenge right there by Baltimore.
So savvy with the technology, my man.
Yeah, I think everyone knows that was not my forte, or if that was me, but well done by our team.
Would have been, again, would have led to a field goal attempt from 50+ by Tucker. Instead, the Ravens have a first down at the 28.
Yeah, there's been 4 or 5 plays like that today that have cost both teams. Now is a chance for a big play, Ray. You can run this ball, but I would be taking a shot to a tight end on a deep over play action.
Griffin. And he'll throw it away.
And just a perfectly timed pressure by Trufant there. Because Baltimore had a pretty good play coming up, but it was defended well after the pressure and making RG3 move.
Had another timeout on the field as the Falcons have a member of their secondary. It's DeMonte KZ still down, and we'll step aside.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Starbucks. Sip a cup of magic. And by Verizon. The best unlimited is on Verizon, America's most awarded network.
Well, they've just had the football, it feels like, the entire quarter, all but a minute and a half. And the Ravens, there you see it. 12 minutes plus in this quarter, and facing a 2nd and 10. The Falcons 28. Smothered right away is Edwards. It was Campbell who was on his back. Only a gain of 1. KZ, who was injured, was able to get up and jog to the sideline. Now he sprints back onto the field for this important play.
I think you saw the adjustment a little bit by Atlanta. Disregard the quarterback now. Jackson's not in the game. We know RG3 can run. We've seen it before in the past, but until he proves it to you that he can still do it at that same level, make the running back beat, or make the quarterback beat you in the run game. Now you just call it like Flacco and do your stuff.
Here's Griffin. Pressure from behind. Throws it to the end zone, and it's incomplete. John Brown got a hand on it. There was all kinds of pressure coming in on Griffin. The pocket collapsing with the likes of Jarrett and Bruce Irvin.
Yeah, well, the left side of this line just says, go ahead, run to the backfield. And Griffin does a great job getting this out. And it's a great spot with the ball that far downfield. You know, giving it his guy a chance, but not an interception possibility.
So Tucker back out for a closer range attempt from 45 out. And the kick by Tucker is good again.
You saw that third down right there. New left guard, left tackle. Ball's got to come out early on third down.
8 minutes, 8 seconds, Tony. They go 60 yards in over 8 minutes. Lead to the field goal, 6-point lead. And we go to New York for the update.
A Lindsey flash. Hey, guys, one of the best stories of the season. Undrafted rookie running back Philip Lindsey is going to go 65 yards against this Bengal defense on the day. 14 carries, 127 yards. And this is his 2nd touchdown as the Broncos take a 21-3 lead.
That is moving. Back to Jim Nance.
Well, the Broncos at 5-6, they are still in the hunt And we were talking about Lindsey last night in our meeting with John Horribaugh, because it really came down for Lindsey when he went undrafted. He was going to sign with either the Ravens or his hometown team, the Broncos. And at the end, it was his parents who persuaded him, stay home, stay with the hometown team. And he has been a sensation.
Yeah, and they got Gus Edwards, so they got a pretty good one too. But those two guys, both undrafted, it shows you can come from anywhere, especially at the running back position.
So a touchback on the way. That drive again over 8 minutes. It was 19 minutes in real time. How about that? As Lamar Jackson is back on the sideline after spending about, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes inside the Ravens locker room.
Look at the coach go over, kind of joke with him a little bit there. Usually when they come back, you know, we'll see what Tracy, I know we're going to go down and see what she drums up, because I know she's going to know.
Here's Ryan. What a tackle right away on Coleman. That was Kenny Young.
Ball came out again. That hasn't happened today, has it?
It's been amazing.
Over and over again. Coleman with the catch. It's a good tackle by Young, stripping that ball. That's what you're taught. First punch goes right to the ball if you're tackling.
Let's settle this thing in the fourth quarter. What do you say?
All right, let's do it.
2 field goals in the third by the Ravens, up 6. We're back for the start of the fourth. It's a 6-point lead for the Ravens, who are at 6-5 on the season, trying to win for a third straight week. The Falcons at 4-7. If there's any hope, it's faint hope. They have to win. There's a little shoulder shrug and a throw down the field. Oh, and Jones was trying to get untangled from Clark. And again, Jones has been contained so far, only 2 catches.
Well, you see the corner pass off right there, and he lets Julio run down the field because it's cover 2. That means he doesn't have a deep field, and the safeties do a great job down the field. And Suggs hits the quarterback right as he lets it go, and Matt Ryan felt that coming.
Jones has been targeted 7 times, the 2 catches for 18 yards. And not a reception since the first drive of the game.
That's what pressure does. It doesn't allow you to pick out the guy you want to throw to.
Backpedaling and connecting. That's Gabriel going in the wrong direction as he was trying to somehow wind his way around. I mean, Ridley trying to wind his way around Mosley.
But watch this. There's like everyone's on the left blitzing, and Ryan has to shuffle, and he can't pick out the guy he wants to throw to. He's just got to get rid of the ball before he gets hit. And so you can't use your best players. And this is why Baltimore is so hard to deal with. And really, they're the only team who does it at this rate with this many different people. Really difficult for quarterbacks to deal with.
So 4th and 4. The Ridley catch, he was trying to figure out a way to keep the drive going. The play put them over 100 yards total offense for the game. That's all. Fair catch by Jones. So Lamar Jackson has been cleared, and he's coming back out after this. So Lamar Jackson is cleared. He's back on the field after Robert Griffin III took care of that last series, that 8-minute drive that led to a field goal. 3 field goals the last 3 drives for Baltimore.
41 for life. 54.
Here's the give to Montgomery. And he's got 2 Falcons on him after a gain of about 6 or maybe 7. And Tracy, what did you learn on the sideline about Jackson through all that?
Well, Jim, I actually spoke with quarterbacks coach James Urban before the game about trying to keep Lamar Jackson healthy with all the running he does. And Urban said it's a constant conversation. He tells him, get all you can and then either get down or get out. He said Jackson's more of a diver than a slider. So he shows him cut-ups of different quarterbacks, how they get down when they're out in space. He shows the good and the bad. And ultimately, he says, he tells him to use his natural ability, but be smart.
Well, here's a 2nd and 3. And he flicks it at the last second incomplete. Of course, he got, again, kicked in the head by his own teammate, a lineman that had been turned upside down, and kind of almost impossible to be able to prevent that.
Yeah, Stanley, the left tackle, when he was down the field. And that's the last guy you want to get. You see him right there next to Stanley.
3rd and 3. Trying to create a little home field advantage here, a little crowd support for this Falcons defense.
They're trying.
They're trying.
Let me get louder. Here we go. Still got to protect against the run and then adjust if they drop back and pass right here.
As Jackson sees a crease, takes it. Cuts back middle and out to the 40. Read that perfectly.
Another designed run on 3rd down, which very few people in the league are doing outside of 3rd and 1 or 2. But look at this. I thought he was going to slide right there. And then he kind of slides. And Tracy, to your point, I think they got to talk to him again now, Trace, because that was a little bit in between.
Jackson, who, when we talked to him about the difference between running around when you're in college versus the NFL, his first thought was they come from you at all angles, and nobody takes off a play in the league. Sometimes he felt like in college he could find a guy that was just, you know, slacking on a play, take it and expose that.
Well, when you cut back in college, you see all the players and you use your speed and run away from them. In the NFL, the pursuit's coming from behind. Everyone's playing to the whistle, and they're literally, their jobs are on the line if they're going to go full speed, especially in most of these systems where it's all predicated on, you know, running to the football every snap. And so he's starting to realize the angles they're taking, they're fast and they close quickly, and you got to get down.
Here's a 2nd and 7. And he's going to roll out again. And now goes down the field into double coverage and incomplete. Thrown in the direction of John Brown.
Really a good job by Alford staying backside. He's on the top of your screen. You can't even see him right now. And all of a sudden he'll come into your screen right there. Alford does, and just stays disciplined. He stayed disciplined back there and didn't just go to the other side of the field because everyone moved that way.
Alford, who had that pick 6 against Tom Brady in the Super Bowl a couple years back.
Yep.
When the Falcons had it 28-3 in the 3rd quarter before arguably the greatest comeback in the not only Super Bowl history, maybe with all the that was riding on it in the history of the game in the NFL.
In the Super Bowl,
no
question. I think it's no question, yeah. Right? I mean, you could argue the what was it, the Bills game?
Yeah, the Frank Reich game against Houston.
Playoff game.
Yeah, that was 35-3.
But this would be right. You couldn't say something else is any more important, obviously.
And you're talking about, you know, final 3 minutes of the 3rd quarter. And of course, the dream, and I alluded to it when we came on the air, Tony, was, you know, this team just a couple of years removed from being the NFC champs with the chance to be the first team in the 53-year history of the league to have the role of not only being in the Super Bowl, playing in your stadium. 3rd and 7. Pass for the first down, and ball's out again. As Montgomery is ruled down.
Oh my goodness, this one is going to be close. This one.
This is the 2nd time this has happened to Montgomery.
This one is pass. Down by contact.
Let's see. Great job. Jackson stays calm, throws it out in front, and it's going to come down to his knee. I think he's down. Let's see it slow-mo. The knee is down right there. Yep.
And the Falcons are not challenging.
Yeah, they can't. The ground caused the fumble. They would lose if that line up there.
Keep by Jackson. And he, that time, went down a little sooner than we've seen earlier in this game. That's a gain of 7.
This is a wonderful slide, not slide, kind of.
I'm not sure what that is.
Kind of a turn down, just sideways. I think it's going to be called a half dive.
If it was anybody else, I would have thought they were pulling him up injured. But after he got the mandate, you know, be a little more careful. That's what that was about. His numbers are starting to pick up in the rushing game. Now 11 carries, 58. Here he goes again. Reaching for that first down. Wow. I'm not going to give it to him. They're going to keep him about a foot short.
It's amazing how you can just keep running the football. Oh, he might have got that. How you can keep running the football consistently and get positive yards when the other team knows you. That's a first down, or at least closer than where they put it.
It's 3rd and a foot. And I'm sure there's communication going on right now with some of his associates upstairs who saw it.
Nah, I wouldn't challenge this right now. You got to trust your team.
They got the first. They got the first with Edwards, who again continues his north-south running ways.
Well, and Atlanta's defensive line is predicated on speed and movement. So really the one area that you have concern of Atlanta is in short yardage. And then watch the big line just move that line back and create a little baby hole.
Boy, he was close. Oh, he did try to challenge it.
Well, that was just in case after the game.
Yeah.
If they didn't get, he's like, I did.
Somebody
it's
says.
Actually genius on his part. Hey, guys, I did. What do you mean I was challenging?
Didn't you see? The flag came out. Timeout called by Atlanta. 9:24 to go.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. The Mule, starring Clint Eastwood, in theaters December 14th. And by Ford, built Ford proud.
Back with the Ravens driving 1st and 10. And Jackson having started these 3 weeks against Cincinnati, Oakland, and now the Falcons. And how about that yardage? Almost 700 yards on the ground. The opponents have had only 165. There's another 2 with Edwards. By the way, next week, our Super Bowl season continues on CBS. The featured game will be Baltimore at Kansas City. Tony will be at Arrowhead for that one, plus other regional action. All get started with the NFL today at noon Eastern. Next week, week 14.
I'm dying to see that game. Mostly just the defensive philosophy of Baltimore versus that offensive philosophy of Kansas City to see which one's going to win out, Jim.
That's Edwards going to set up 3rd and about 4. Edwards now 20 times, 20 totes for 75 yards.
Everyone's been so scared of the Rams, the Chiefs, so no one blitzes them. And you're going to see Baltimore come right after them. Now here we go, though. 3rd and 3. This is the, I mean, there's been a bunch of big plays in this game, but right here, a sack, anything can really hurt your chances for a field goal. You want to make sure you protect. You have a great kicker. No 8-10-yard loss here.
Keeping it all the way. Jackson almost slipped and trying to take the ball out of his hands. He holds on to it. Only a pickup of 1, and you're right. With the weapon you have, and if he makes the field goal, it's a 2-score advantage. It's huge in this game, the way the defense is performing for Baltimore.
Yeah, it was almost obvious they were going to run this football, minimize any big loss, no turnover, let maybe one of your best players, and you could argue, you know, he's a kicker, but he's as good as, like you said, as good as they get. So 2-possession game if he makes this, which feels like Atlanta may need another half to get that.
So the attempt, 47, good again. His 4th of the day. Ravens up 9 in the 4th. Ravens increase the lead to 19-10. At the State Farm postgame show after the game, JB and all the crew take you all through the early games and their highlights coming up on the State Farm postgame show. Ravens have done something they've never done in team history. They have scored in 18 straight quarters.
Wow.
When you saw that during the commercial, the graphic, you said, "Is that good? Is that, I don't know. Is that
what we're looking for?
Is that what we're trying to do? Yeah, that'll work." How about Matt Ryan, 94 yards passing. And again, just to emphasize what's at stake here, you got the Ravens coming into the weekend in the 6th and final position. It's the second wild card at 6-5, and all these other teams. Indianapolis, just been amazing what Jacksonville's done with them today, shutting them down.
Well, here's your chance right now. Matt Ryan, this is where you got to put your team on your shoulders. You're going to take hits, and you got to throw under duress in tight windows.
Oh, you're not getting balls down. Ball is out. Picked up. It's going to be returned for a touchdown. That's Young scooping it up. We have our second defensive touchdown of the game. They blitzed on first down, Tony.
Well, that's what Baltimore does. No one else blitzes there. And sure enough, they know they're coming out. And really what happens, oh, the ball.
Don't think the arm was going forward. And look at Young. Davon Young.
Look at the push up the pocket.
Look at the hit.
Smith gets the push right up. And
here's the extra point to increase the lead to 26-10. This defense has been outstanding today. Only fitting that they would be able to at least match what Atlanta's defense did by scoring a touchdown.
And you see that ball's not going forward. It's 48. Patrick knocks that ball out. What a well-timed blitz and pressure. And you don't want to have to block this Ravens unique form of pressure. It's tough, and Matt Ryan has felt it all day long. And then just a quick selfie.
Yeah, well, to make sure, pose for the picture. You deserve it as a defensive unit. Putting together just a spectacular effort here, holding the Falcons to now 97 yards total offense. It's unheard of. 8 first downs, at least what, half of them on the opening drive of the game for Atlanta.
This is the best combination of scheme and talent in the National Football League on defense. There's other teams maybe who have more, you know, a couple players that are just so dominant. But when you add in this scheme, this is the last team as a quarterback I want to see is Baltimore in the playoff game, whether it's at home or on the road.
So Ryan has to come back out and face it again. Still down 2 scores, if you will.
I bet you Baltimore continues to come after him. I think this first play, they got to be soft, right? They can't come after him again. But if there's a team that just says, nope, we're just going to keep doing what we do, it's Baltimore. But I'm saying they don't pressure here, Jim. Let's see.
Staying in the pocket and able to flip it out to Sanu, and that broken tackle picks up a first down.
Yeah, it's obvious 2-minute mode for Atlanta now. And on the last play, it was just man-to-man, not pressure by Baltimore. Ryan having to tell everybody who to block. You're going to see a little softness from Baltimore.
Steps out after 6. And we'll check the penalty marker.
Probably an illegal shift when it comes from the outside, or formation, some sort of illegal movement right before the snap.
Illegal motion, number 12, offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
So this Ravens defense, I mean, I'm just looking at a stat board here, the official stats. You think what they have done here on this afternoon, and then the Owasu strip sack that leads to the return and the touchdown. Okay, Coleman in the backfield. 1st and 15, Atlanta. 6.5 to play. Here they come. Able just to get rid of it as he had no chance. And let's check the marker near the line of scrimmage.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer, number 90, defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
Zadarius Smith, that's now 3 times they've had a marker out for him in the game. Second personal foul on him.
Well, and that's a good call. That you cannot do that. He let go of the ball. Now watch here, though. The defensive end, his job is when he blitzes, he's covering the back. So now the defensive end, Matt Judon, you got to take the tailback. That should have been a touchdown. But the tailback's eyes just didn't get back far enough to catch the ball come out of Ryan's hand.
First down, the Falcons without Julio Jones on the field. Get the completion to Ridley. Just shy of another first. There's Jones. Helmet on, looking to get back in. He did have that hand wrapped in the first half, the thumb area. But he's been on the field in the second half. Flag down is going to be on the Ravens. They were offsides. Julio is coming back in. We'll wait for the flag.
Offside. Defense, number 99. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
You know, Julio comes into the game, Tony, through 11 games in the season with 84 catches, over 1,300 yards, leading the NFL in receiving yards. Had been over 100 his last 6 games. And again, he's been blanked since the first drive of the game when he caught 2 short throws.
Well, they see that safety go up top. He's double teamed on some plays.
Get Ryan escape. It's going to be good for the first. And on the near side, we've got another marker.
But ultimately, the pressure is what takes you off of them consistently. When they come after you with a lot of stuff, you got to throw to the vacant areas on the field.
Holding. Defense, number 54. A 5-yard penalty is added to the end of the run. Automatic. First down.
You're going to see Bowser run out of there, and he's going to grab Sanu right there. I'll tell you what, got to give Martindale credit, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Defensive plan, but really all season. They're doing stuff no one else in the league is doing right now.
There's a pass in the middle of the field. That is caught by Sanu, who puts the ball down in a hurry. After a gain of 14.
Ryan feels that pressure and delivers a strike, but everything feels fast. It feels hurried, and they can score right here. We've seen crazy things.
Yep, of course they scored. They would go for the 2. Ball up in the air. Caught by Ridley. And he's across for the touchdown. But we'll check the flag.
Oh, this is a crazy play. Now, this is probably coming back.
73. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
It's called on Schrader, the right tackle, but it was off the fingertips of Sanu, and Ridley nearly had his 9th touchdown of his rookie season.
It wasn't just off the...
Yeah.
Let's see. You'll see.
A little more than that.
The hold right here pulls him down with him. There's one tip off Mosley. Let's see how many guys touched this ball. Holding there. Mosley.
Now Sanu.
2. Then Weddle. Then off Clark.
Goodness. Weddle, Clark.
That was 4 guys, I think.
It was like volleyball for a moment. Almost looked like Sanu was trying to send it in his direction.
Now here comes Baltimore's pressure.
They love this situation. First and 20. The blitz. And the incompletion. That was Anthony Levine who knocked down Ryan.
Well, so it's hard enough to get it all communicated on who's blocking who. But here's the best part. This is really subtle but brilliant. Baltimore says we're going to press Julio because he has no help anywhere. If you press him, it throws the timing off just a second. And because that timing's off, now he doesn't get to run scot-free, so the throw and the timing is just off where Ryan can't see the angle and throw it out in front of him.
Second down and 20. The Ravens who blitz more than any team in the league. And what's the proof of the work, the end result? They lead all the defensive categories as Ryan throws against his body to the end zone, incomplete. It is interesting to see that as you got a flag in the end zone. That's Carr, your former teammate down in Dallas.
He was playing outstanding this year, but they might have got him with one. Let's see.
Pass interference. Defense, number 34. The foul occurred in the end zone. The ball will be placed at the 1-yard line with an automatic first down.
It would be 24, Brandon Carr, and that'll set up the Falcons at the 1.
Gives the Falcons a shot. Let's see if he's holding them here. He didn't see it there.
That's the 4th penalty against the Raven defense on this drive. Coleman's the running back from under center. Ryan has it. Ryan throws it. He's got the touchdown. It's Hooper.
Well, this is the best play of the day by Matt Ryan. Outstanding job getting back on a bootleg and moving away from the defender coming at him, and then under duress throwing that ball between 2 defenders. I mean, forget. Judon goes up, and then that ball is so perfect. Under duress, falling down backwards.
Yep, and now the must.
Hooper with a touchdown. Here you go.
You got to have it if you want to really have a fighting chance to get it down to a 1-possession game. 1-2. Ryan looking for a second option. Backpedaling. Now has to, and it's incomplete. It hit the hands of Hooper. No flag. 10-point margin.
Just nothing open. They're going to look to the right for Julio on a slant, and that's taken away. And then all of a sudden you go around and around, and the ball's got to come out. And they were hoping for that 4-person touch tip again here to get it.
Yeah, right.
Another hit on Matt.
That was their only hope. Boy, Suggs with a hit.
That one was okay, though, because the ball was still coming out. You never know if they pull it back. You saw that earlier in the year. Do you remember Brady? He pulled that ball back, and the defender kind of stopped, and then he ran in for the score.
I've done a lot of the Ravens against Patriot matchups through the years, and Suggs has always had big hits on Brady in their matchups. And he's still performing at an extremely high level. His contract's up at the end of the year. He wants to keep on playing. And last week he had his first defensive touchdown since 2008 when he scored against the Raiders.
I think you keep him around in this regard. As long as they're great locker room people, you love what they bring. He's still playing good football. You know, the pricing isn't too crazy high. I would say it's mostly going to come down to if he's great in the locker room and helps the young guys. Then that's something you definitely would keep him around for.
With the miss 2, a pooch punt, pooch kick hit. I think they might try onside kick there. Down 10. And the return up to about the 25. That didn't really give the Falcons any kind of a chance. You're going to pooch it, or at least do something you can where he's got to scramble to try to scoop up the football. All right, coming up, the State Farm post-game show. JB, Phil, Nate Boomer, and Coach Coward. All the scores and highlights from the 1 o'clock Eastern window, as they'll get you up to speed on everything around the league. Coming up on the State Farm post-game show.
Well, normally in a game like this, on defense, you're like, okay, we know they're going to run the football. We're down 10. We're Atlanta. They're going to run it. So let's get into our run defense. But they've already been in it all game. It's really no different. You know they've been running it. So it's really just the same thing.
They run it with Edwards. First final of the day is in, by the way, and it's a Jacksonville victory, ending their long losing streak. 6-0. They blank the Indianapolis Colts. Timeout called here by Atlanta as Edwards is gimpy getting up. He's now got 81 on the ground. He had some issues coming in and had been questionable with an ankle.
It's been the bell cow these last few weeks. You saw Collins went down on IR this week, and they're asking a lot out of Edwards, and he's performing. And Montgomery picked it up last week. He played a lot, and you saw him today as well. So they got some depth right now, but you never want. You don't want to keep going down the list as the season progresses to the next, to the next, to the next.
And they've got Kenny Dixon back too, and he's played a lot in this game. Look at this formation on 2nd and 3. It's Jackson with the football. There was one massive conclusion in the back.
What a great
collision here in the backfield.
So
watch Dixon get hit.
Boom. That's your job as a defensive end. Now that cut right there by Jackson, that was rare. His ability to make him feel he was going to go out wide. And then all of a sudden a cut up, first down. Hard to deal with this running game. A lot of different ways they run at you.
So the Falcons have run out of timeouts with 4 minutes to go. Now over 700 yards over the last 3 games, which is a franchise record in a 3-game span.
There's a lot of things that go into that. I know we want the easy thing to talk about is quarterback and the whole deal, but the defenses haven't exactly been, very rarely do you play 3 defenses this low in the standings in a row in the run game. And then on top of it, though, your defense is playing unbelievably well.
There's another 2 yards picked up.
But you can't take it away from them. You still got to go do it. And the fact they could just do that over a 3-game span against, these defenses, it's going to be a tough decision on Harbaugh going forward because your team is just playing really good football right now. And Jackson, it's simplified the game. One area is the defense is always fresh in the second half. I mean, the offense is controlling this ball.
That's a good
time
point.
of possession over and over and over again.
When you have an offense that can have time of possession, wins like what we've seen today, and keeping things fresh, we've had some recent coaches even talk about how much a great offense is the best friend of a defense. And no gain this time for Dixon. Tracy, more on the quarterback situation.
Well, Jim, I spoke with John Harbaugh before the game, and he said Joe Flacco has not been cleared to play yet by the doctors. He did participate in practice this week, but did no team reps yet. But Harbaugh said he is hopeful he'll be cleared by this week. Then he will make the decision on who the starter is, Jim.
What do you see happening, thank you, Tracy, long term here? You go out and you draft Jackson in the first round. He's winning games for you. Flacco's won a Super Bowl.
You don't think long-term right now. You're just going week to week. Yeah. Things will just play themselves out the way that they happen. I mean, you don't, as a coach, organization right now, you made the decision to draft him. That was the time to think about long-term.
Oh, get Jackson almost get there. And I don't believe he did. Mark about a yard shy. This was happening right in front of the Ravens bench. And they were trying to make a point here that he was tackled inbounds, keep that clock running. They were motioning to the officials.
He's down in bounds, which will take you to the 2-minute warning.
In fact, we are there. We have arrived. It'll be 4th and 1 when we come back. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Kay Jewelers. For all the moments, for love, forever. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Open air day in Atlanta. The 360 vision and circling the Raptors. And it's going to be a challenge here by the Ravens on the spot of the football. Nothing to lose on their side anyway, except the timeout. And they have no concerns in that department, no need for them. So just in case, have a chance for them to look at this and see if he got close enough to be able to just polish off the game.
Yeah, I think his knee was down, though, before he extends. Let's see right here. Does that knee hit the ground before he extends out? Right there, he's down.
Yep.
And then it goes back up and he extends out. Yeah. So really, they got the spot correct, in my opinion. Right there.
I mean,
actually, they gave him more yards.
They actually made.
Baltimore is about to lose half a yard to a yard.
Exactly. They were right. They win the challenge then. They had an incorrect spot.
They get to keep.
They get to keep the timeout because they're going to back them up another half a yard. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Have you ever seen a challenge just go completely against you, where you're like, not with the ball or anything, but you're like, and you lost 14
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is confirmed. The runner was short of the line to gain. It's 4th down. Baltimore is charged with a timeout due to the unsuccessful challenge.
So you have to
Lamar Jackson says,
this
you guys just stay
ball?
out there. You would think.
Wow. Well,
you would think this would be a punt, but 4th and 1.
This right here is because they've gained over 700 yards of rushing in 3 weeks. That's how much you believe in these guys.
Including 204 yards today on the ground. Just go ahead, John says. Just get the yard and take a couple of snaps and let's go home.
Well, it's just going to be, this is how it's really hard to defend when you get in shotgun, and then all of a sudden you get under center and hand this ball right up the middle.
All the Falcons are close. They help push Jackson from behind. And it's going to be a first down.
Well, that's the ball game.
That's going to do it. Harbaugh always expresses the great belief he has in his team and his players. And he showed it right there by just going ahead and saying, let's go ahead and end it, guys. I'm not going to punt and drag this thing out.
No, that's... We were sitting up here saying, do they punt, do they not? It's like, well, you can punt, you got the #1 defense, you know, but you also got the best offensive running team, and Harbaugh, proud of what RG3 did today, stepped right in and took him down the field for a field goal.
Ravens on their way to winning their 3rd straight. They'll be in Kansas City next week. We'll be there for the game. And then at home against Tampa, at the Chargers, and week 17 home against Cleveland. It's a happy bunch. And it's another statement game for this defense.
I'm telling you what, the way they run their system, for quarterbacks, coaches out there, this is going to be an unbelievable test next week for this defense and this offense of Kansas City. This high-powered, fast-paced quarterback throwing it down the field, then a quick one. Well, you want to do it, your quarterback's going to get hit, is what Baltimore says. Baltimore's defense is rare with their scheme right now in the NFL. Not many teams do this.
Jackson gives a little jump shot to close it. There'll be a hoop game here, 3 of them, when the Final Four comes to the stadium in about 15 months' time, the 2020 Final Four. So now the Ravens at 7-5, and that certainly helped them that Indianapolis lost to Jacksonville. This gives a little more separation against them. Jackson throws for 125, runs for 75 and a touchdown, and the Ravens win